just quickly, I'll catch everyone up because I want to go about this from a different perspective than the morning drive this morning. On the morning drive, Chuck reads the story from Don Williams this morning of Cody calling out Brett Yormark for potentially scheduling Texas Tech Houston. In the article, it certainly seems like Texas Tech Houston and football is going to be on Friday night. So far as Kirby Hocutt is cited as saying, hey, Lubbock ISD schools, if you want to play Thursday in week 3 of the college football season, that's probably a good idea. So we have all of that going on. Then Brett Yormark in the Don Williams piece says, Cody Campbell is not the Big 12 commissioner. I am. They're kind of they're getting the rulers out, right?
Yep.
Cody Campbell responds with Don Williams' article. Now, he's quoted in the article, but he responds via Twitter, sharing the article, saying, apparently Brett Yormark didn't get the memo. The Big 12 runs through Lubbock. Maybe we should bring back the tortillas. So there's all of that going on right now. I want to come from strictly a television perspective. If the Big 12 wants to put games on Friday, is it more beneficial to put your biggest game on a Friday night, or is it more beneficial to put a game that would be buried on Saturday and give it a chance to shine on Friday night? What's more beneficial?
Moving a game that would be buried on Saturday to a Friday night.
So that's my perspective. Would you like to know the rest of the games in week 3 that potentially would be on Fox on a Saturday big noon kickoff?
Gee Williker, I sure would, Rob.
All right.
We weren't expecting a G. Williker today, were you?
I was not. Colorado at Northwestern. Virginia Tech at Maryland. Southern Illinois at Illinois. Western Kentucky at Indiana. UTEP at Michigan. Akron at Minnesota. North Dakota at Nebraska. Michigan State at Notre Dame.
One.
Kent State at Ohio State. Portland State at Oregon. Buffalo at Penn State. USC, maybe USC, at Rutgers. Purdue at UCLA. Eastern Washington at Washington. Eastern Michigan at Wisconsin. Northern Iowa at Iowa.
No. If it was Iowa State and Iowa, it'd be a different story.
So my response to some of these people saying, well, it's good for the Big 12 that you're in the spotlight. You're 90% sure that you could get Big Noon kickoff that week.
Yeah.
What's better for the Big 12? A ranked on ranked, which is maybe your only ranked on ranked game of the season? Or Big Noon kickoff or Friday?
Big Noon kickoff.
Well, you're not for sure it's going to be Big Noon. I think I am for sure. And the Big 12 could say, hey, Fox, what about it? Huh?
If Fox doesn't want it and they want to go to the other game.
Yeah.
I wonder if that opens up game day coming to Lubbock for a top 25 matchup in week 2.
Well, so that would also be fun, but you look at some of the SEC games, Florida State at Alabama, Georgia, Arkansas, Florida, Auburn, LSU, Ole Miss. LSU, Ole Miss, that's Kiffin, Ole Miss.
Yeah, that's where they're going.
So I would assume there's not much of a chance for a game day.
I should do what I did again last year, or 2 years ago, I guess, where I went through the entire football schedule and predicted where game day would go without a game being played.
Yeah.
I should do that again.
I like doing that. I did that last year on the show.
And I think I got like 7 of them right. Over 6 of them right overall. Now there were some like gimmies, like they were doing Texas, Oklahoma.
That one's an obvious one.
They were like there were some of those. It was SEC heavy. I missed.
So was game day.
The Colorado game that they went to.
Collier's gonna like that one.
That they went. I missed. That was one of the ones I missed. Was the Colorado game.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Speaking of haters and losers, they're out in full force here in the Big 12 world. The haters and losers at Kansas State are worried that Texas Tech is trying to become the owner of the Big 12 like Texas was. And they're worried that Texas Tech is getting too full of themselves. And the haters and losers at Utah are, which is more rich than the Kansas State people. I understand where the Kansas State people are coming from a little bit. But the Utah fans are like, I can't wait to leave the trash Big 12 and where we can really be a key player, unlike the trash 12 where Texas Tech is trying to make all this noise like they're better than they are. And we can go to the Big 10 and be one of the powers of the... Okay, Utah, you're not good at anything here. Why would you be good at anything in the Big 10? We talked about this a little bit in the first hour, David, if you remember, on your drive-in.
Yeah.
And we talked about just the business of the Big 12 and how that matchup doesn't make sense for TV in that spot, which was one of the things that Brett Yormark said. He said, the Big 12 got better numbers in that time slot than they did on Saturdays, which is just patently false in respect to Texas Tech. Texas Tech on Fox consistently outgained the number of 1.5 million. And so when you look at the full Big 12, what Brett Yormark said was truthful, but it is completely out of context and completely wrong when talking about Texas Tech. Now, why does Texas Tech act the way they do right now? Because quite frankly, they are ahead of everyone else in the Big 12 in football.
Okay.
In football.
Okay.
And it's quite obvious.
Okay. Rewind 5 years from 5 years ago.
We're not talking about 5 years ago.
Okay, wait a minute. No, absolutely we were talking about 5 years ago.
No, we're not.
5 years ago, if the Texas Longhorns or the Oklahoma Sooners would have done this, what would you have done?
I would say they're dadgum right. Texas shouldn't be on Friday. That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. They're putting Texas and Texas Tech on a Friday night? That is stupid. They're putting Texas and TCU on a Friday night in September? That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
I know. And you know what Texas would have done?
They would have left the SEC.
They would have complained about it.
Yes.
Their athletic director would have gone on social media and
100%.
said, this guy obviously doesn't understand it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they should have.
I know. So why?
Because Brett Bowlesby also didn't understand it.
So why do you not like the comparison of being the current Texas Longhorns of the Big 12?
I didn't say I didn't like it.
I think it bothers you.
Not in the context you're putting it in. Now, if you said that Texas Tech was creating their own TV channel and we're gonna ask for more money from the Big 12, those kind of things,
which Colorado got, right?
Those kind of things would frustrate me. Yeah, because Texas Tech is not doing those things. So they're not like Texas in that respect. But if you're just saying Texas was the biggest brand, they deserve the best TV time slots, and if you're saying Texas Tech thinks they're Texas because they think they deserve the best TV time slots, yeah, that is a comparison I will accept between Texas Tech and Texas.
So you don't think that this is similar to Texas trying to run the Big 12 conference in any way, shape, or form, or showing their power over the conference? I
think Cody Campbell tweeting directly at Brett Yormark is attempting to, but that is out front and transparent. Texas was doing it in back alley deals.
Yeah, no, that's true.
It's not like Cody Campbell flew on a PJ and did a. I was trying to make a mob joke. I'll stay away from that.
Yeah, let's.
And had Brett Yormark at a nice conference table and told him, this is what you're doing or we're going to leave you. Like, you're not holding them hostage. You're just expressing that you don't like it. We're not holding anybody hostage.
Okay.
We're not asking for more money. We want equal rights, everything being equal. But to go to Corvallis on a Saturday
Would it be okay if it was if it was
Sam Houston?
No. It was still, look, they're trying to put the two of the better teams in the Big 12 because, well, for one, on that weekend, have you looked at some of the other games that are going on nationally?
That's why you should leave it on Saturday, because you get a big noon kickoff in Lubbock.
No, absolutely not.
Why? On Fox. Look at the Big Ten schedule and tell me one Big Ten game that would be featured over Texas Tech. And if you say Notre Dame, Michigan State, okay. But that's a 50-50 shot. There's not a single other game in America that would be big noon kickoff over Texas Tech and Houston that weekend.
Northern Iowa?
USC Rutgers? We're going to go to Piscataway?
That might be the only time they can go because they've got the Lincoln Riley factor.
Yeah.
But big noon kickoff, unlike
right,
ESPN.
That's not the Big 12's. That's not the Big 12's decision, right?
Yeah.
But there's a 0% chance you get big noon kickoff if you're on Friday night.
Oh, without a doubt.
There's a chance you can get it on Saturday. And if you're on Saturday, Fox afternoon, what number are you going to draw? 2.5 to 3 million. You did it consistently last year. And you're going to be top 10 in the country in week 3 if you beat Oregon State. On Friday, those Big 12 numbers on Friday in the first 3 weeks last year were 1.5. Now, some of the Big 10 schools were getting 3 million. Is Texas Tech Houston going to elevate on Friday night?
Well,
and we'll have to see.
I don't think that it did.
See, that's my point. Wouldn't you rather, and I don't have the Big 12, do you have the Big 12 week 3 schedule up? To me, it makes more sense.
The Big 12 week 3 schedule.
It makes more sense to me to elevate. Now, you know what happens from week 4 to week 12 on Fox Friday nights? They feature the Big 10. So even if we go back to Lucas's burning question, there's not an opportunity, right? There's not an opportunity to go back and say, well, we want to do this, this, and this with the Big 12. No, this is your shot. So I understand it. I really do.
Okay.
But it's frustrating to me that instead of trying to elevate a game that's going to get 400,000 views on a Fox midday, you're taking the game that's already going to get 3 million on a Fox midday and moving it off.
I know why they moved it. Everybody's going to talk about Texas Tech and Houston on Friday. Maybe not in the state of Texas, but it will get the coverage on Friday because that's not the Big 12's most important game that week.
Okay. What is it?
There is a game being played in the Big 12 between Arizona State and Kansas.
In London.
In London.
That's exactly right.
That's the reason.
That's exactly right.
That is the reason.
And yeah.
So we do not want to overshadow the London game.
And Yormark is absolutely saying that.
That's because
what it is. At 9 a.m., we're going to have London, and we don't want to take away from that at all. Maybe they'll get Fox Big Noon kickoff in London. How about that?
There you go. Kansas is the most important team in the Big 12.